Ta-da! Hello, hello! Can I get the video working okay? Is the audio okay? Happy Sunday night, everybody. Let's see, chat buffer's up. Here we go. Everything sounds and looks okay. Cool. Hello, Brian, Ken, David, Wiley. Yeah, I like to put in the 10-minute warning. I've had some good feedback about that. I've had people say, look, it's really cool that you give us like 10 minutes to get in there. Some streams, they join them and they've already missed the first couple of minutes. The background noise you hear is the joys of living up here in Maine. There goes the furnace. I am down here in the shop basement of my house. Some have wondered, this is not my mom's house. It's not my parents' house, it's my house. So don't worry, I'm not going to get yelled at if I stay up too late. If you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. A couple of things I'll cover before we start on this. But today's been a fun day. It's been one of those lazy weekends where when Friday night I had a bunch of ideas, a bunch of things I wanted to do. And then I played DCS World, the online air combat flight sim. I played that till about 2:30 in the morning on Saturday morning. So Saturday was pretty much walking around like you're hungover and got nothing done. Today I was up early. I had a friend of mine doing a road race, so I promised her I'd be there at the finish line to congratulate her because her husband was going to be away, so she wanted to make sure she had someone cheering her on. So I was there for her. And so that's been my Sunday so far. I got the laundry done. I didn't want to have that clunking around in the background here. And I've been really excited about checking out the SeeMeCNC Extruder. And I'll give you a little bit of the backstory on that because, and I got the other camera here set up. I also adjusted the white balance and tried to adjust the settings so that it's not quite so white and you know, the balance is off like that. I apologize for my voice. I have almost completely beat this cold, but as you can tell, it's still very much in my nose. I had a friend of mine ask me to do some voiceover work for him over the weekend for one of his videos, and I said, "Oh, dude, there's no way." And he goes, "No." He goes, "We like your voice. We really." So I played it back, and you know, it's just like anything. You know, you guys play a video back, and you hear your own voice, and you cringe. Maybe there's a couple of you guys that sound like, you know, President Obama or James Earl Jones, and you just have that velvety, smooth voice. I don't. I mean, I'm not too proud to admit it. I feel like when I play my voice back, I sound like Linus from Peanuts. So that's just the way I view it. So the reason for this upgrade, I really wanted to go with the Bondtech, but the Bondtech is like 90 bucks. And I thought, well, 90 bucks. Do I want to spend that much? Because the SeeMeCNC is 35. And as we know with the CR-10 as well as the GTAC, you know, all these Prusa style machines, there's really no way to add more force to the extruder. There's a spring there, but there is no way really to make it, you know, get tighter or looser. And I've been dealing with this since I first got the printer. I would have a couple prints every now and then show a little bit of under extrusion, but it wouldn't be consistently all through the print. There would be a few spots where it would be there, and then it would clear up and go away. So I thought perhaps there was something with the filament. I thought maybe it was because it didn't like the way that the filament was on the roll. Yeah, for 35 bucks, I couldn't resist. So, I mean, I have all kinds of filament mounts. I have some that are over the printer. I have some that sit on ball bearings, so I know they're rolling very smoothly. I'm not using crap filament, and I mean, Zyltech is the, ZYL-Tech is the least expensive filament I buy, and I've had great luck with it. So, it's not like I'm buying the cheapest thing I can find on Amazon or Albiva or Banggood or whatever. So, and the fact that the problem clears up in the next layer, I can see as this thing is printing, I can see where there's that little roller bearing, and sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't. So I think there's some slipping going on, and the SeeMeCNC doesn't really offer much different as far as how it grips the filament. But again, for 35 bucks, I thought this is a great experiment. Oh, the furnace is off, thank goodness. So I'm at the point with this particular CR-10S where I'm pretty much, I just need to do a few final calibrations, and then I'm set to go to put it in the enclosure and have it do some BB-8 prints, and some of those prints are going to be 3 or 4 days in length. So I just want to make sure that if I'm going to do these big prints that are going to take multi-day, I just want to make sure everything on this thing is good to go. It's got the micro Swiss hot end. As you can see, it's got the Capricorn tubing, and I've noticed, well, there's a good part and a bad part to that. The good part is when the filament is going through there, man, there's no friction. I mean, it goes straight in. The problem, of course, is you go from having an opaque tube to a solid color tube, so you can't see where the filament is in the tube when you're loading or unloading. So no biggie. So I see we got like 9 people on here. That's awesome. Not bad for Sunday night. I'm competing with Sunday Night Football. Well, first of all, if you have never watched my channel before, hello, my name is Paul, and this is my channel where nerdy is cool. Real big into the 3D printers, and you can see in the background I've got my BB-8 frame back here and all kinds of other stuff. So if you are a regular, welcome back. I see a lot of familiar faces. Minnesota Maker, hello. And let me look over here. I got 3 thumbs up and there are 9 people. So come on, guys, step it up a little bit here. I'm not competing with football. I'm not a huge football fan. I mean, I like football, but my father growing up was an umpire for football and basketball, and you know, well, it was baseball, basketball, and football, and he also did tennis. So I've had my fill of sports in my life, so I couldn't tell you where the Patriots stand in the divisionals. I would much rather be watching the Science Channel, or the many YouTube channels that some of you have, or that we are also very familiar with. All right, so this thing came pretty much pre-assembled. So I have the directions here, and I will pull that up on the second monitor. I see I have to remove a clip here just to make sure everything stays in here. There's a pretty incredibly big spring here. So let's jump over to, let's see if this camera is going to play nice as I darken things up here. And of course the focus is going to be a challenge here. Here we go. So this is what the EZR looks like. The very top black is a from Dublin, Ireland. Well, hello. Small world. A friend of mine, actually my boss, just flew home from Ireland today. His daughter lives over there, and she is due to give birth any day. And where did they go? They flew into Dublin and then headed to Belfast. So we've been doing a lot of Google Earth with him, and so I've been learning a lot about where he's headed. So wow, small world, good timing. So this is the, and essentially from what I've been reading in the directions, and let me kick over that screen here. I don't know if it's a private hospital. I would have to ask Steven when I see him when I go back to work on Thursday. Okay, so we have a little animation here that shows how largely everything goes together. I don't see it doing a whole lot of animating here. Oh, here we go. So essentially it just lays on top of the stepper motor. And these pieces are already assembled. Yep. We're going to bolt it in. 1 screw, 2 screw, 3 screw, yep. And then that little knob is going to sit on top of the stepper, and that's going to add a manual feed and crank. Okay, that sounds really easy peasy. And there's some other stuff hanging off the end. I don't know what that goes to. Maybe it's some tensioning stuff. I don't know. But let me scroll through here, and we'll follow the instructions together. There's not a whole lot to this. I don't think this will be a super long video. I was gonna just record it and edit it and then post it sometime tomorrow, but I thought the live feeds have been really popular. You guys have been offering a lot of great feedback. What's been amazing is not only you helping me, but there are other people in the chat asking questions, and there's always that one person that signs on that is really the local guru. So I've been impressed at how much this not only helps me but helps others. So I definitely want to keep that momentum going. So here we go. So we have to remove a twist tie. Yep, gotcha. We don't have to worry about... They didn't really customize these instructions for the CR10. I have seen, I think there were 1 or 2 videos on YouTube I've seen where they talk about this install, but apparently there's just so little to it that it just bolts on and off you go. And then we got a couple grippers over here that are going to go between our Capricorn tubing and this connection here. And that's going to shim it, so that should prevent that from popping in and out. I'm trying to remember the name of the channel I'm thinking of there. Geez, he just started last year, and he has like 26,000 subscribers already. Oh, the name escapes me. I would have to look at my feed. I can't remember. I subscribe to so many people. But he did a short video on it, and here's the gist of what he said. He saw... I'm sorry, he put it on an Ender 3. That's what he did. And he was printing with flexible filament. And he said as nicely as he could, this made no difference. So, you know, and I had just received the kit. I kind of sat there, I watched that video, and I thought, well, crap. What the hell did I buy this thing then? But for 35 bucks, it's worth trying. And here's the reasoning for it. Okay, here's the print. Is this? Yeah. And hopefully the focus is going to play nice. But as you can see on this print, and it's focusing on my hands and not the print. So see right there, we got a couple layers that really had some issues. It's focusing on my hands. Finally, see that? And then it came out of it. And maybe the other print is just as bad. Yeah, the other print's even worse. Come on. There it is. So this is not a direct drive. This is a direct drive as if it actually sat on top of the print head. The CR-10S is a bowden system. And so as you can see, I got a bowden tube up over here. And what this is going to do is going to replace the stock extruder. And it should be, based on the instructions that we have just seen, it should be easy peasy. So let's see how well that really works. All right, first we need to get rid of the twist tie. And I will use my very fancy, actually just to show them off here. See how these scissors are curved? These are beautiful for taking care of twist ties, and I use them extensively on my Stormtrooper armor for cutting the ABS plastic. So, part 1 has been completed. Now we gotta... I'm hoping the camera isn't too dark. I mean, my coffee cup looks black and it's pine green. So, apologies right there. And let me get some junk off the table. Where's my little, let's see, that's Capricorn tube. There we go. Little pro tip, if you have cup, little lids like this, they come in super handy for dealing with screws and stuff. And I don't know how they made there. It looks like this is injection molded, so I was expecting 3D printed. All right, so this is kind of interesting. So this is going to be the, and then again, I hope the wow, it focused the first time. Where's my friend Caleb? Caleb is always razzing me for the camera not focusing. So that looks a little bit more grippy than the current cog that's in there. We get a bunch of these that are going to sit and going to plug up the end here so everything stays in place. What's interesting is all of these screws are Phillips heads. I was kind of expecting hex since that's what we're just so used to dealing with. And what size are the screws for these things here? Let's get to the other menu here real quick. Do they say how long these screws are? You know, part of me wonders if I should just reuse what I already have in there. All right, so let's take a look at this. So this, okay, that rules that out. This one's not going to even fit. So, all right. Okay, so, oh yeah, this thing wants to slide out on you if you're not careful. Yeah, I wonder if I can, oh, get back together, you. You know, it's interesting. I have the HICTOP aluminum version of the Creality drive system, and I still have that in a bag, and I was real tempted to try that, but my impression was it looks like just a metal version of what we already have. So, all right, let's get the tools together. Let's get camera number 2 set up someplace where it's fairly useful here. And one of the first problems I have is I have filament sitting inside the printer. So I should probably heat up the printer and get that filament out. So let's pop you on. And we'll do a quick, what I like to do is I like to heat the nozzle up to 210 degrees and then bring it back to about 100 degrees, and around 150 aggressively try to get that filament out so that it not only gets the filament out, but it might actually act as somewhat of an atomic purge. And let me, while I'm thinking of this, what is the snippers I just had that I was so proud of? Oh, right in front of me. Duh! Boy, gotta start drinking the coffee, Paul. Ah. Sorry guys, I guess that was a little bit of prep I should have done ahead of time, getting filament out of the machine. Alright. Dark silver. I do like this filament. Alright, let's see what temperature we are at right now. 130, we got a ways to go. McEwen all-metal extruder. Which one is that? That's my impression on the BMGs as well too. Yep. Who is the guy? Oh, he's got a fairly small channel, but he has some good videos. Ron's Place. That's who he is. He had installed the Bondtech on his CR-10, and he didn't really elaborate what the problem was, but he just said he wasn't terribly impressed with it. So I don't know what happened there. All right, I'm checking my temps. We are at 214, so let's cool it off now. Oh, it's such a pleasure to have a machine where the knob actually works. After messing with that G-Tech as long as we have. Although, I gotta give the G-Tech credit. The G-Tech's been working all right. Okay, I just want to keep an eye on the temp real quick on this. Alright, I'm gonna try to wiggle it out. There. Okay, filament is out, and let me show you why I do it that way. As you can see, I've managed to get a little bit of the shape of the nozzle. So when you heat up and let it cool off just a bit, because I've just found that with these setups, boy, if the filament breaks in the bowden tube, it just sucks. Did you link a post? I'm sorry, yep. Just give me a heads up when you give a post like that, because I have to unhide it. There we go. Because YouTube by default thinks that you're hijacking us all to Pornhub. Not that I've ever been there. Oh, okay. The firmware on this CR-10 is the, this is using the TH3D, blah, 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 blah. What do they call it? Unified firmware. There we go. Okay, so we got filament out, so we can turn the printer off. I'm going to leave, and let me show you what I got on my printer. I have on the back here, and I apologize for making you seasick. So I have the filament guide that is pretty much what everyone that buys a CR-10 is their first print. And what we're going to do, let me see if I get the camera back here. This might provide the best spot here. So we're going to go ahead and loosen this guy up. I suspect I'm not going to be reusing this, so I can probably, actually it's probably easy with this thing plugged in to get it out of there. No, could be wrong. It is such a pita with these press connectors that don't really, there we go. Man, you suck. Is that compressed or should I cut it? Nope, that's good. All right, so let's aim this up a little bit. All right, so this guy's coming out. And I should probably have this on a, maybe I can MacGyver this in such a way that this camera can give a better shot. How's that look, guys? Oh, what have I got? Have I got a critic already? What's going on here? What firmware? No problem. I'm sorry about you. But sins, okay, I don't know what sins means outside of a really bad typo. I lost my integrity and can't be taken seriously. Okay, well, you work on your spelling and I'll take you seriously. Sound fair? I'm curious what integrity I supposedly lost, but whatever. That's the beauty of the internet. Everybody's a critic. Well, that's fine. Okay, so 2 of these are out. I imagine there's a third one here somewhere. Yes, that's right. This one uses a larger one. Let's see. Hey, EE, I gotta find an Allen screw, so maybe while I'm looking for that, I can find my integrity. Asshat. Okay. Okay. Oh, I was warned about this. Okay, so I got about 2 turns on this, and the spring went, I'm gonna shoot you in the eye. So let's be ready for it. All right, and yes, hello, Stephen G. Yeah, we are going to install the SeeMeCNC Extruder in this thing. I've got 2 of the screws out. I have a very big spring here waiting to go flying, so I'm trying to not have that happen. And under this should be 1 more screw. Okay. Well, let's take a look. Well, there goes that spring. So this is interesting. This definitely looks a little chewy. The good news is it is moving freely, so. But it definitely has some stuff in there. Okay, and then here's our last one. Although, maybe I want to get at that set screw while I can. And maybe I want to go smaller on that. Doo-doo-doo. Trying to keep the webcam in a good spot and keep track of the chat. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Yeah, well, you know, Wiley, it comes into the. I mean, I'm a pretty good critic of people too. I mean, I can take it, but you know, I don't see that I lost my integrity with. I don't know which Facebook or which Folgertech review he's talking about, the i3 Mega or the FT5. But if you're gonna throw rocks, especially with typos, you make yourself fair game. Okay. I wish this would. Here we go. Okay, so motor is out. So is this stuff. Now, in the instructions for this, they suggest, you know, what's interesting, guys, is for just printing PLA, that's pretty well grooved. I mean, it's not that it looks terribly bad, but I don't know if the camera is going to play nice for me or not. I'm across the table from it here. Here we go. Maybe. Hello. But it definitely has a worn out streak in it. And I think I need a smaller. Let's see. Not the right tool. Yep, that is brass. It is brass. Yeah, let me unplug this so it's out of the way here. Da, da. All right, between all these Chinese printers, I should have the right Allen wrench I am looking for here. That's not promising. Wow. That sucker is in there good. And we might have a slight issue here getting this sucker out. There we go. There we go. There. So the ball end of my Allen wrench broke trying to twist that. So this could be a good time. I hope that comes out somehow. Maybe if I bang it around here. Okay, good. By the Lords of Coble, that has come out. There. Alrighty. So the brass one is out. The Allen wrench no longer has a ball piece at the end of it. That's funny. Would not have predicted that would have been my challenge for the night. Okay. Oh, you had one where the grub was stripped out? Yeah, I've run into that on some stuff too. That's not a whole lot of fun. So let's look at their instructions here. I would like to just reuse existing hardware, but oh, we're on 7. Let's back up a little bit. Okay, 4M3 10mm. Okay, well, oh, there they go. Geez, I would really love to be able to reuse what I have, but I'll use his stuff. That's fine. You know me, follow the directions. So 1, 2, and where's that 4th one? Okay, B. since I'm dealing with Imperial, I should probably gonna need a thinner tip. Thankfully, for Christmas, I received a new set of screwdrivers, and this is gonna, there we go. So this is gonna work out pretty good. All right, they're, okay, I suspected this might be a problem. So this guy's gonna have to come out. Oops, well, come out, break, whatever. It looks like there's a piece here. That doesn't leave a lot of, yeah, there was my Z-axis, yeah. Okay. These screws are not, there's not a lot of, not a lot there for them to bite into. What I'm gonna do, next step over here, dun, dun, dun. Okay. Let me check the buffer in case I missed anything. Let's see. I'm sorry. Is EE Transmit still criticizing me? I got to be coordinated for this part. Well, great. Okay, set screw is in there. Is there just one? Yes. Okay. Well, one thing's for sure. This thing goes on a little snug. Okay. So let me show you guys. So this is, I'm just kind of, this thing goes on. I'm not sure how far up or down this thing is supposed to go on the, I'm going to leave you on there kind of loose here. Yeah, that's way up there. That's fine. That's a good starting point. Okay. And we always go on that star pattern, so let's go over here. Okay. And something we'll also have to do is we'll probably have to mess with esteps. That's fine. And just going around to all of these guys just to make sure I got as many turns as possible on this guy. Okay, let me get the camera here. As you can see, I kind of have this sticking out at the top here. I'll press it into place. I'll probably use a piece of filament and have that go through and figure out what the sweet spot is here. But so far it's in. Let's get some stuff out of the way. Let's move the power cord for starters. There we go. And I need to keep track of the chat buffer. Let's see. Yeah, well, I did exactly what your daddy said. Okay. So the interesting thing is the filament guide is right on the top over here. So it's kind of away from here. It looks like I should probably try printing a different one of these guides at some point. Well, it's still going to make contact with that across the top. So maybe we need it, maybe we don't. Let's see. All right, let's get rid of that sweatshirt. We're working. Okay, and let's see. So that looks good right there. Need a small strip of filament. Where's that? All those times I've been sent sample rolls here and never had a use for them, so we'll make use of one of those. There. I thought I would never use this. Here we go. Might come in handy. Okay, just looking at what you're saying. You may need gear puller. Oh, you're talking about as far as getting this thing at just the right height? I am curious on something here. I wonder if I've got that going in upside down. I do. Glad I looked. Because they want you to adjust that set screw. Okay, not the ideal way of doing this step, but hey, if it works. Alright, let's hoist you up, my friend. Oh, I might have to actually unscrew you so I can give you a big tug. So let's get this out. So there, don't follow my steps. Well, I was looking at the set screw thing, going, how the heck am I going to access that? But it's going to be accessed through here, it looks like, through this portal. So let me get the right camera here. There we go. Yep, almost. Yes, so let's give this guy a tug. And where's my set screw? Right here. Okay. All right, one more time with enthusiasm, we will do this. Okay, and as his daddy says, put him in loosely. So we're gonna go loose. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Now let's tighten you up. See, the Phillips, it's really easy to pop out of the groove. I kind of missed the socket type. Okay, so let me display my work. And we'll have to shove this guy down until it... it's going to take a lot of shoving. Alright. So now... we be looking, and let's see where the filament wants to go. So we're kind of looking, let me move this chair here so I can get a better look here. It's not the easiest sight picture here. Move this chair. Let's put the filament back in here. And what kind of stinks is when you think you have it and you go too low. Yeah, I think I want this guy to be, trying to get the sight picture just right here. Now the fun part is trying to get that pulley turned. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the Allen wrench to just the right spot for this guy. It's a little hard to photograph, so okay, there's that. And that looks to me like it's too low. And someone had mentioned something about a puller or something like that. Ta-da! Give it a thumbs down just for love. Oh, you suck. So here's what I'm up against here right now. So it definitely needs to come up a little bit, but of course, grabbing this thing and pulling it back upward is a whole bunch of joy here. What's hard to see is, at least it's a clear casing. I'll give it that, but this obviously has to come up a bit. So that's what I'm currently struggling to figure out how to grip this thing and bring it back upwards here. I'm trying to use the end of the Allen wrench to pop it back up some. Come on, you. Maybe the pliers can fit it there and pop you up a little bit. Maybe. Looks like I'm gonna have to remove you, pry you up, and do it again. So yeah, if you're just wondering what the heck you've stumbled into, we are trying to get this new extruder. Let's move you right to the very top here. Here we go. And we'll loosely get these guys inserted. And then this time I'm going to put an Allen wrench at the bottom of the grub there so that it doesn't go too low. Last time it just kind of dropped on me. So let me put you under here so you can't cause any mayhem. Now let's put some filament in here and see where the filament starts getting grabbed here. Okay, I think they don't give you a great sight picture as to okay, that's going to be my okay. Ouch. So what I'm doing, I'm pulling around with this and just seeing if it actually there. Okay, so it is doing a pretty good job moving this back and forth. Okay, so I think we got the right height. So that part looks decent. I like the knob idea as well too. Okay, so that is on. Let me see what I have missed. Let's see, Minnesota maker. Well, so let's backtrack. Let's cover a couple of the comments that I may have missed or may not have addressed while I was, no pun intended, screwing around, screwing that extruder back in. So my FT5 review, I really complained about the directions were poor, and they were. And the melamine was not a lot of fun to work with, and the wiring part was not a whole lot of fun. They have since addressed almost all of my concerns with their FT5R2, which is using aluminum composite material, and he did a much better job with the instructions. And as we saw when we built the FTI3 Mega, Chris did a fantastic job with those instructions, and there were a few spots in that build that I didn't quite agree with, you know, the no power switch and what have you. But that printer is designed to be as inexpensive as possible, and that's a design choice they made. So if someone feels I've lost my integrity because I gave the FT5 a bad review, yet I still use it and buy their other products, whatever. I can't please everybody. I gave my honest opinion about that particular printer, and that's it. So let's see. Gear, yeah, someone mentioned, David mentioned a gear puller. Yeah, that would have been really good to have for this. Hey, look, we got the swimming porg. Someone just subscribed. Cool. Just looking through here. Have you ever tried to manually feed different color filament while printing? No, I haven't done that. I've just been sticking to single color. And yeah, and someone else mentioned, you know, using there are different ways you can do multiple colors. You know, another thing too is I'm not a fan of filament sensors. Because I do multi-day prints, I don't mean to sound condescending to those that rely on those, or I'm not one of those people that have had a lot of success changing filament during prints. So I've just gotten to the point where if I know I'm doing a huge print, I make sure I have a huge spool of filament. As a result, I have all these spools back here that are either, you know, 30% or 20% left, and that's just the way I've been doing it. So I haven't taken advantage of the new technology, I guess. As a matter of fact, the CR-10S has that, and I have the PCB attached, so it disables that. I just don't trust a $15 sensor to clobber a a 5-day print. So that's just it. I mean, everyone has a different approach on how they do their prints, and everyone has their different way of doing bed leveling. Everyone has their preferred temperatures. I choose not to go there. So let's look at the instructions and what they're talking about next. Oops, I saw a pop-up. Where'd it go? Woohoo! Wow, he subscribed. Have you had a change of heart? Did my explanation of the FT5 review soften your soul? I think I'm a pretty likable guy. I think sometimes people take me too seriously when they read me. Once you guys have seen me on video and you understand the sense of humor, levity, I like to smile a lot. I like to engage other people. I like to listen to other people. And if I agree with you, great. And if I disagree with you, don't take it personal. If you don't agree with me, I don't take it personal. Yeah, I like I said, I got big respect for people that post honest reviews. You know, even after the FT5 review I gave, you know, I'm still friends with Bondtech. They sent me the i3 Mega for free to review, so obviously they valued my input. Yeah, I mean, come on, you guys all see, there's a bunch of 3D printing channels you guys watch, and you see reviews, and you can always tell that, geez, this printer they reviewed sucked and they had nothing but troubles, but they kind of said nice things about it because they want to make sure they get more free printers from that manufacturer. So, you know, I don't have that kind of following. I don't have 100,000 subscribers or whatever. I've got, you know, 2,000 and some change. And I think this is just the way you like me. Blunt, honest, and fun. So let's see, there's a couple, I got a bunch of extra parts here, so I know part of this is going to go to this doohickey over here, so let me get that ready. Tighten set screw, we have done that. And then it says final assembly, dun dun dun, and so we are going to install a stepper monitor, blah blah blah. Hand tighten only. These are being placed here only for safekeeping. Okay. Safekeeping. Yes. Yes, Brian. Thank you. Brian, you're like the hero of my channel. Usually you shout out something and it makes total sense to everybody. Yes. Would you just, hey, you know what? Okay, so I got a bunch of extra screws here, and it says to just I'm a little baffled what this is all about right here. I wonder if that's because this is for a different model. Because I see these screws right here. Well, that's just it. I mean, there's a lot of times where I film these things. Because what I'll do is I'm sorry, this is a big pause on this. Because you guys are raising some really great points, and I love answering these questions. I guess I should start with this. I guess we're an hour into this. So if you've just joined in, hello, my name is Paul. This is my channel where nerdy is cool. Big into 3D printing, a lot of movie props. Obviously, there's a BB-8 over here. Upstairs, I have my full-size aluminum R2-D2. What you can't see behind the camera is my Batman suit, my Stormtrooper suit, and parts of my RoboCop project, as well as the Iron Man one. So I'm kind of into that stuff. So welcome. If you're not a subscriber already, hit the button, become one. This is the kind of fun you're missing out on. So if you become a subscriber, and if you hit the bell, you get notified when I go on the air or when new videos come out. So hello. So I've been having some problems with my CR-10S with the extruder that came with it. I've had a couple prints where, let me show you again here because some of you guys have just jumped on, but I got some layers that are kind of screwed up. Now, as you can see, it quickly recovered. And again, I never professed to be, here's another one here. You can see in the bottom parts there. So it's not crap filament, and we didn't have any problems with the bowden tube. And the temperature was fine, and it's a micro-source nozzle. So that leads to the extruder, because I've sat here and watched prints, and I've watched the wheel on that extruder sometimes move, sometimes not. And there was no way to adjust the tension on that. Now, I bought a HICTOP all-metal extruder, and that's still sitting in a box. And it was my plan to install that on this printer. And then someone did a review on the SeeMeCNC EZR Struder. And is my basement temperature controlled? Well, technically it is. The loop from the house comes down through here. So it stays about 59 degrees down here. So anyway, my first thought was I saw a couple reviews about Bondtech because they have the excellent extruders that grab the filament and are super good at flexible filaments and pretty much everything. But then I saw this for 35 bucks and I thought, you know, for 35 bucks, gotta try it. So we're gonna give this a go and we'll see if it makes any difference. I'll do a pile of prints here and see if I wind up with any under extrusion or problem layers. Just to be safe, I'll do an E-step check. What I'll do is I'll extrude 100 millimeters of filament, and we'll make sure that 100 millimeters actually feeds through. And if I need to adjust my E-steps, I can do that in my firmware. So we'll do that. But I'm curious if this $35 extruder fixes my problem. If not, I'll be contacting Printed Solid and saying, send me one of your Bondtechs for the CR-10. It's 90 bucks. It's gonna hurt, but gotta do it. Because what I'm trying to do is I have a bunch of prints for BB-8 I need to do. Those prints take multiple days to do. So what I've been doing over the last couple of months with all my printers is upgrading them, calibrating them, making sure they're going to be all right, because if I'm going to print all these pieces for that robot, I want to make sure that they're all dimensionally accurate, and I want to make sure that if we're spending that much time and money on filament, on multi-day prints, you got to make sure they're good quality. So that's why we're making sure that this extruder is going to work out for me. This has the Easy ABL on it, again micro Swiss nozzle, so here it goes. Last time we chatted, we were talking about the Bondtech Direct, and the only way apparently I can do is if I have an E3D hot end. I already have a micro Swiss on here. I'm sure there's some way that you can attach the Bondtech on top of this thing, and I saw some instructions on the Pets Fang, but when I went looking for the assembly instructions, they're nowhere to be found. So I really don't want to try to decode the pyramids here and find out why the stars are where they are. So for 35 bucks, what the heck? So where I'm looking at right now is on the instructions here, they're talking about final assembly and they're talking about leaving these screws sitting here. And I'm kind of wondering if you guys see something I don't. So we've installed the stepper motor hand wheel by aligning the flat, blah, blah, blah. If this is going to be in a new build, install the tube and lock nuts and hand tighten only. Okay, well, I got all kinds of stuff sitting in here. I wish they gave a little bit closer view. Are those the nylon insert ones, or? I just wonder why they're leaving that there. I just wonder if that's for a different printer altogether. Because obviously those holes are there for something. The only thing I can think of is they're holding down the cover plate. That's the only thing I can figure they're good for. Unless someone's keen eyes have spotted something else. Hello, Ben. We're looking at the directions here, trying to figure out what these extra screws over here are supposed to go to. Alright, because we got everything else installed, but we got these two guys. And see, I got a lot of extra hardware here, and it doesn't really tell me what to do with them here. So I am guessing nothing. Yeah, they must be looking for a different kind of mount, but I think we're good without it. Okay. Okay, so it looks like, let me get this camera moved around here. And let's hope the focus plays nice here. I got the remains of this extruder. I gotta pull out of here. And I'm, like I said, I'm really surprised how worn out that brass is. Yeah, that's all I can think of. I know SeeMeCNC makes all kinds of printers, so it may be some extras as well. And I was just complimenting my camera about how well it was focusing tonight, and now it's doing what it likes to do. And I'm going to guess you go here. All right, and now the agronomics of making this thing pop out and then clip it like that. And again, I apologize if that's a little bit fuzzy. Well, this clip does not want to play nice for me. All right, let's. Oh, the good thing is it doesn't want to pull out. The bad thing is it doesn't want to take this nice little clip I have for it. Why the upgrade? I was getting some slipping on a recent print. Okay, I am now convinced this thing hates me. Okay. So one's gonna kind of, well, actually, it's gonna kind of sit there just like that. I'm going to snip out the old one. There. Okay, so this guy is now in there. So it looks like everything should be happy, happy, joy, joy. Is it really? I don't know, but so there. So the good news is it looks like it's in there. Let's see. Yeah, it'll clip, yeah. Yeah, I liked it, but I couldn't get that first one to go in there. And the cool thing is they send you multiples of these, and I don't know if they're just different sizes or if I just happen to grab one that just sucked. That sometimes happens. But I had to snip that out, and that can just stay there. That's fine. Someone had told me that it has trouble with Capricorn tubing, but it is in there as far deep as it can go. Ben suggests wrap a zip tie around your stepper cable motor to give you something. Da, da, da. Well, actually, it's not in the way it currently is, which is the good news. Let's see, I got the easy ABL and all that goodness over here. I got tools. So we're about to the point where we can heat the hot end up and see how it does feeding filament. And then we'll do an extrusion test and take it from there. And just looking through the buffer to make sure I haven't missed anyone's comments here. Oh, Happy and Atheist, hello. Yeah, I've had the EZABL on this one for, it's been about 6 months now. I've had really good luck with it. Yeah, it's been one of the easier upgrades for me with my, I've got 3 of them now, and then I got a BL Touch knockoff on the G-Tech. So let me ask the audience, is there anyone else that has this EZR, what do they call it? I'm sorry, SeeMeCNC EZR Struder. I am curious if anyone else has one of these. Or am I the one running the grand experiment today? Okay, let me plug this in here. Oh, did you get the same one from Tiny Machines, this stuff? I've had really, really good luck with it. I had, yup at me. Thank you, Dave. Well, for 35 bucks, I mean, come on, I gotta try it. Does anyone have a preference of color filament that we test this with? I always like to ask the audience because sometimes they pick something and we have good luck. Let's see. I currently have purple in the Filament, so that's out. Let's see. I got gold and silver. Actually, I can put the silver back in. That was pretty cool. It's up to me. Sorry, purple has spoken for. Purple is currently loaded on the FTI 3 Mega. I'm sorry. Johnny, tell him what he's won. Let's see. We'll go with silver only because I know I got it. Okay, let's go with yeah, let's get the nozzle cooking to about, oh, I guess 215 is a good number. I'm going to sound blasphemous, but I gotta say, the one thing, since wandering away from the, oh, do you think protoplaster? I wish I did. Yeah, I do have red. I think the red is baggied up. Or do I have that in the TiVo? Nah, the TiVo's in a heap. I gotta come back to that. Oh, message retracted. What did I miss? Yeah, the propylene bed has served me well. I've had a good time with it. And almost there, halfway there. Where was I going? So up until about the last year and a half, all my printing has been on 2.85. And of course now I'm in the realm of 1.75. And I'm just not used, I'm still to this day not used to that thinner filament because I find that sometimes it just breaks out of the blue. And with the thicker stuff, it was just so very rare for that to break at all. So I'm still getting used to this thin stuff. Oh, how much is that bed? I can tell you in a second here. The where did I get this? I got this. Here we go. Let me pull up his webpage here and I'll share it with you guys. Because I know he does business in the United States. He's a nice guy. He's offered me great support and I'd be happy to share it with you. Let's see. Over here, Tiny Machines. And these are the beds that I've been using on my printers. And you can go through here and you can just click off, you know, whichever printer size you have. and they work really, really, really well. I get no commissions from him. He's just a good guy in the United States, and I'm happy to support him. All right, let's trim this and feed some material through. Okay, I can smell the hot end, so that's push you through. Okay, well, as you can see, it's definitely gripping the filament quite well. I'm just kind of hand cranking until and it's really nice to be able to hand crank this. Okay, and I can feel resistance, and I see filament coming out the end. Good, good, good. And if I had my octo print plugged in, I could command that sucker to manually move some filament around. Oh, you know Chris? Yeah, seems like a really nice guy. Yeah, I have been very pleased with all the products I bought from him. All right, so real quick, let's go to camera number, that one here, and we'll do it through the controller here. Okay, so let's do some move axis fun. Let's move Z up a bit here. I'm going to grab my tweezers here to get some of the goop off the hot end. All right. Let's go to move axis, extruder, and let's have you do 40. And it is kind of cool to watch that turn. And out she goes. Okay, it's moving filament very nicely. The next thing I would like to do, where's my ruler? I might have to ask you guys for help with this. I try to remember how to do the equation for measuring esteps here. There we go. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure I got it all correct here. But I need to remember the equation. You know what I mean? The what order everything goes in here. All right, magic marker. Move the spool here out a distance. Okay. All right. I'm going to tell it to do 100. And 40 because it was stuck on 40 before I started. Here you go. I was thinking I should probably do this through. Oh yeah, you're a nice big old blob. Okay. So what I did is I put a little magic marker blob on 100. The machine already had 40 on the extruder, so I had to set the extruder to 140. Although I overcranked it, so I may have to do this all over again. But let's see what happens. And I went right up to where that so it looks like I put in 150. Son of a gun. Yep, now it's backing out by 10. Ah, stop. Alright, I'm going to reset the machine. That's the problem with doing it with the machine sometimes. If you go too fast on the crank and you go backwards, it it will try to draw a filament back into the machine. So let me, and that's why we do this live, because it's awkward and we can all learn through my mistakes. Because I haven't figured out how to clear out the menu. Alright, so right now I'm setting the hot end temperature again. Sure doesn't take long for this to cool off. And I really ought to, it would make my life a whole lot easier if I do it too often. And there's that. I just need the auto print power cord. Okay, Octoprint is plugged in. Dun, dun, dun. All right, we're doing a million things at once here. Okay, someone provided the E-steps. That's cool. That's what I needed to see right there. Okay, so current E-steps times 100 divided by what came out. Okay, we're measured. Alright, let's go over here on the other screen. And let's get I've lost track which machine is which. The GTEC is at 16. Alright, everything should be booted up now. Yep, M503, that's my thought. Okay, I'm just waiting for the Octoprint. I got 5 on the network here, so I just gotta. Unfortunately, they don't respond by host name. I wish they did. Need to make some network changes for that to work. Okay, so let's go here. Let's because this is a new laptop, it doesn't remember any of my passwords, so that's kind of awesome. I'm going to ignore the update for now. Okay, so let's go in here. The only thing that keeps me sane is changing the background color. And, okay. So here's what's kind of cool, a side note here. So I can see the temperature of my Raspberry Pi right now by running the heat sinks and running a 5-volt fan. It's running super, super cool. Okay, let's go to control. I don't have a camera here. All right, and the current esteps. Let's get this out of here. And where is my current esteps? My PID. Is it 93? Okay, that's what I'm checking right now. Let's see. Steps per unit, X. Okay, yeah, you were right, 93. Very good. All right, so let's all do our math together here. All right, right now, temperature-wise, we're, okay, because we just turned this on. So let's go back to, let's make you a, make it 220. See, we are all going to learn E-steps all together. This is awesome. You asked about the filament go through the nozzle. Well, technically, I could unplug the Bowden tube. Because, yeah, you're right. I mean, if I just want to see where the extruder is pushing, I could do that. But I got filament in the system, so why not? So, it probably would have been easier to do this with no filament going to the hot end, but that's why I'm heating to 220. I mean, that's really on the high side of PLA right there, so it should plow right through that, no problem. All right, so we're checking our temps, and it looks like we are. Let me move to the right screen here. All right, so we're currently there. So let me get my handy dandy. I am measured at 100. Okay, I've marked off on the filament as poorly as I could. So we're going to go to control, and we are going to go with 100 millimeter. Yeah, I don't have the camera set up. Yep. And click extrude. And away we go. Boy, that didn't move a lot of filament. Well, I got a big blob on the bottom here, but unless I measured completely wrong, sorry, I'm caught up on stuff. I still got quite a bit left over. So my thinking says Let's try that again. What did I select? I selected 100. What is my current temperature, just to make sure? Yeah, I'll put you there. Alright. That seemed like it was pretty shy of 100. And just to be sure, I'm going to even grab my ruler. Alright. That seemed a little weird. Alright, let's go extrude you again. That seems pretty weird to me that there's that much left. Huh. Interesting. Let's measure it. Oops. 0. Yeah, so only 50 made it through. That ain't right. We're not doing something wrong. Oh, look at that. I got the lousy view. Okay, I have a new idea. I am going to set the temperature. I'm going to do what someone else suggested, and I probably should have done it the first time. Let's cool the sucker down. And we'll just push the filament through the machine, not the hot end, and see what that does. Because I'm a little curious why that was so far off. Okay, well, the filament made it out. That's cool. And let's pop this sucker and press you in, pull you out. This is probably what we should have done the first time. So, for those of you saying, Paul, told you so. Yep, you're right. So let's do it this way. Alright, I am trying to push you. I don't like this extruder already. It's a pain in the butt. Alright. Alright, well here's my frustration I'm having at the moment. I'm pressing this to move the filament through. Here we go. Man. And it is not a very smooth path to get this stuff out. There we go. Yeah. I'm not sure I like this stuff already. Alright, so we don't care about the temperatures. Actually, we'll probably just turn the hot end off. So here's my struggle. Let me go to the other camera here. So pressing this button, which moves stuff around so that you can move the filament through, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It really likes to fight you. And I'm noticing this knob is already rounding out on me, so if I'm hoping to use this to manually crank filament, it's going to be a very short-lived endeavor. So there we go. It's finally seated on there just right. So yeah, so it's moving stuff around okay now. But okay, let's think positive. So what we're gonna do, okay, let me run my thinking past my audience here. Rather than measure on this end what comes out, what I could do is I can put a black line right here and then measure what came out. I think that might be better. I can do it both ways, just to test. So there we go. We have a nice magic marker mark on that. And let's tell it to extrude 100. Of course, and because I turned off the hot end, it's automatically saying, no, I can't do anything. Alright, fine. Heat up to 188. Yeah, the extruder won't let me do anything. Make sure the motors are turned off before you... Well, I just kind of did it though. Okay, so we gotta get the extruder's not going to move anything. Brian says, clip the filament even with the output of the extruder. So you're saying that measuring from here is a good way to do it. And I've made sure that there's plenty of slack filament on the other side here. Oh, that's a good tip. M302. Okay. All right. Well, I'm at 180 right now, and I'm gonna move the camera here so maybe it's a slightly better angle for you guys to see here. Okay, good call on that. All right, let's see how much comes off, and then I can just measure. Okay, let's grab our ruler. So it looks like what extruded was 111, but I'm going to get the caliper to get a better read on that. And of course the bowden tube is right smack on the line. So 109 came out. marker. Yes, we're calibrating steps. So our current E steps are 93, multiply that by 100, so we have 9,300. We have to divide that by what came out, which was 109. And I gotta fire up my calculator program here, CACL. Okay, so basically we are doing 9,300 divided by 109. So my new E steps should be 85.32. And why that calculator program is so large is a little baffling. Okay, so this is what I came up with. So I can change that through the LCD menu, but I'm pretty sure I can do that through the controller terminal here. I just am drawing a complete blank how to do that. Measure 3 times, or do it 3 times. Because what I can do dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Because what I can do is I can actually take the piece and I can hold it up against the ruler here. And where's my magic marker? My magic marker is right here. Yeah, so what came out was 135 on second measure. But you know what I'm going to do? Let's put a magic marker blob on this one. Let's do it one more time. So extrude 100 millimeters. Okay, and you can see that's there. What's my old? Yeah, it's 109 according to the caliper. Let's make sure the caliper is, yeah, the caliper's good. Wonder why my ruler maybe looks so wrong. Oh, I know why. There's multiple marker strips on it, that's why. Okay, so that one looked good at 109. Let's make sure this is not bound up. And then what I can do now is I will clip this piece off. I'm going to put a magic marker right where that fitting is. And instructed to do another extrude. Yeah, it could be the filament, true. Okay, let's put a magic marker dot here. Let's zero the caliper out again. Let's wiggle away to get this thing in here. Okay, that one was 111. So I think yeah. So I think, gentlemen, what I'm going to do is, since we came up with 109, 110, 111 and 110, I'll go with 110. Okay, let's see what I can calculator. Because I think we're about as close as we're gonna get. So 9,300 divided by, what did I say? 110 would be our estimate. So 84.54. Law of averages, very good, well said. Okay, and in order to put this in terminal, you guys had said it was a, it's M92 if I recall. Let me check the buffer. I think someone agreed with me. Yeah, M92, okay. So M92, don't I just set E84.54? Is that correct? Just want to make sure. I think that's right, but I have such knowledgeable folks watching here. I just want to make sure that is correct. And then follow it up with an M500. Okay. Okay, and then M503 to check it, right? M503. And okay, 80, 80, 400, 84.54. Hey, how about that? What a good crew we are. Between the bunch of us, we're learning how to do this stuff. All right, so now, let's see, I still need to go ahead and give it one more run here. So let's see. Actually, let's just snip this guy clean off. There's a little magic marker there for the end of it. Good. All right, one more blast of 100. And that should, I hope, put us in the ballpark. I used to always forget this step and then battle with problems with my prints, and then realize, you know, if I just did this, I wouldn't have this issue. Okay. 100. 100, 100, 100. We're happy, happy, joy, joy. All right, and then if I'm really good, I can actually, oh, where's the holder? I'm gonna be good, put the holder back on. Okay. And I gotta bend you and pull and have you fit in there again. That's what it does. Okay, now let's heat up the hot end and feed that filament in. Okay, that's so all I'm doing now is getting the printer happy, happy, joy, joy. I got filament all over the place here. I got this. I'm making you miss Ren and Stimpy? Holy crap. This is an outrage. There we go. Okay, so if you're just tuning in and wondering what the devil you're skipping out on Monday Night Football or on Sunday Night Football for, watching me calibrate my extruder. We have the new extruder in there. I've got some mixed feelings about how it's going to work. I don't know. I liked when it was feeding the filament through a moment ago, it was doing it like a tank. But when you're changing filament or putting filament in and out of there, the release, that big red knob that I press, it's a little dicey. So again, it's a $35 experiment that I have taken for you. Let's see, so there's that. So let's go ahead and extrude some filament and get that stuff rolling. Didn't see that filament make it all the way down through yet. Yeah, we're already having some challenges getting this thing to feed filament. So this might be a very short-lived experiment for me. I was trying to get this to the filament. I had about halfway into the tube, and and I told it to go 100, so I guess this bowden tube was probably 150, so maybe it didn't have enough distance. Didn't feel like it was quite moving. So the problem is I felt like for a long time I really had to babysit this extruder. And as I do this print, or as I do this right now, I'm starting to feel that way again. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna stay optimistic. I really hope that this extruder is going to perform well, but it's requiring a little bit more babysitting than I expected. Checking out what I've missed here in the chat buffer here. All right, and then what have I got here that I can? What can I send over to the CR-10 that's already printed recently? All right. Yeah, I've been, what was I watching? I was watching the Game of Thrones. HBO is apparently free for a couple days. I have the Blu-rays anyway, but I got sucked into those. It's been one of those weekends. I am one of those people where in the morning when I'm trying to get motivated to do stuff, suddenly I'll catch something on TV and I'll totally get sucked into it. I got sucked into a couple hours of National Geographic talking about the end of the Third Reich and then the spread of communism right into the Vietnamese War. Being a history nut, that's the stuff I enjoy following and learning. Because if you don't learn history, you're bound to fall into it again. Right now, and with these propylene beds, really, all you do is take the rubbing alcohol and just clean that surface. A little pro tip for you people that have pets, especially cats, and if you have your printers in the basement, I highly recommend you switch to dustless cat litter. I just did that recently, and can't remember, Arm & Hammer makes it. And what a difference. I was always used to having dust kicking around here. I always had the air purifier going just to make sure. But it was just a routine thing. I was always finding the dust, you know, on the 3D printers or one of my computers over here, especially the monitors. It would just grab it. On the Voyage Home. Yeah, that's the one on the whales, the whale songs. Okay, so we're going to print the Lucky Cat. We'll get that bed heated up. Wow, we're 2 hours in, 16 viewers. Well, let me do my top of the hour thing in case there's some people that haven't chimed in yet. Well, first of all, hello, my name is Paul. Welcome to my channel where nerdy is cool. We have just done an upgrade to my CR-10S. The stock extruder, I kept on seeing slipping, and as a result, some of my prints had under extrusion going on. And wasn't happy with that because I've got a brand new hot end, I buy really good quality filament, and I could tell when I was babysitting these prints, I could see when it was feeding through, I could see the bronze gear moving, but the washer wasn't. So that told me that you know, the filament wasn't quite gripping as well. One thing that surprised me while taking this apart was how grooved out this is already. And let me show you here, get the light on there. And the only thing I print is PLA, so the fact that this little brass, I mean, it's not terribly gouged out, but I mean, you can definitely see there's some wear on there. So that said, yeah, you are assimilated to the Borg. So that said, if you're just tuning in, welcome. If you are well, if you've never seen me before and you're not a subscriber, hit the button. Become one. You don't want to miss any of my cool videos, my live streams. Do this stuff all the time. We try to make them fun, educational, a lot of feedback from the crew over here in the chat buffer. Right now, I'm working on the printer. These guys are having Star Trek chat. And if you haven't done so already, down there, just above the comments, give me a thumbs up. Rathacon is good. I have mixed emotions on the remake of Star Trek because I liked the layout of the Star Trek universe. I have no use for the new Star Trek Discovery, or as it's known, STD. I'm looking forward to the announcement there that Jean-Luc Picard is coming back. Patrick Stewart has a team of writers, and they are working on that. So I have high hopes for that. Oh, V'ger, the motion picture? Oh, God. That was a movie that would really test your respect and love of Bill Shatner. That thing is 3 Earth days away. We have to do something. Alright, bed's at about 45, I think. Yep. I guess I don't like Discovery because it's just such an obvious money grab. And, you know, everything is so politically correct now. You know, God forbid you have a white guy on the bridge, you know, or something like that, you know. One of my favorites, it kind of snuck up on me, but I really enjoy it. And I'm really disappointed it's not on high def or widescreen, is Star Trek Voyager. I thought that was an excellent series. Alright, so I have no idea what to expect on this one. Okay, I just went over and I made a hello, Stephen. Could you move the gear up a little on the extruder shaft to save the gear? That's interesting. That's a really good comment. If you knew that your extruder gear was having some issues, I don't see why you couldn't. Looking at, because it's obviously, it's not quite smack in the middle, but there's definitely some room to play there. So that's a very good point. I thought for sure maybe the bearing of this old extruder was having some issues, but it looks like it's moving pretty good. It's got a lot of junk in there too, so. But the fact that you had no ability to tighten it or loosen it, that was a problem. So I guess I have more spare parts now, just in case. Actually, I should have. Okay, we're doing the auto bed leveling now. Okay. All the old parts and pieces go into a bag. Oh, I love TNG. The early episodes were pretty tough, but season 2 is a favorite. Dr. Pulaski, I like her. So if you haven't seen a easy ABL in action, here it is. Ideally, I should have heated the bed to 60 and let it sit there for a little while, but it should be all right. It's using a 4x4 grid, and the hot end is turned off while it's doing its probing. And then what it will do is after the end of the probing, it's going 4 across and 4 on the y-axis. But it'll pause for a minute, waiting for the hot end to heat back up, and then it'll commence with priming and printing. Oh, the music, Jerry Goldsmith. You, my friend, have touched on to one of those nerdy things that I just love. I am a huge fan of movie soundtrack music. If you were to play my Spotify playlist, you would hear Rocky, Superman, anything John Williams, Hans Zimmerman. Now, I haven't done fast probing because I've had such good luck with this. And of course, when you guys are watching, I'll probably have a complete screw up, but this has just seemed to work really well. And kudos to Tim. Tim is, I've had no troubles with Tim. He's been very easy to work with. Very helpful. Okay, so at this point, usually what I would be doing is I'd be checking the nozzle to see if anything's dripping out of it. So far, so good. John Carpenter's another good one, correct, yeah. You know, you've just made me realize I haven't watched Starman in a long time. Okay, so while this thing is heating back up, I'm looking at the hot end because, of course, once the hot end gets hot, we could have some filament flowing through, but so far, not a problem. I would love to meet John Williams. I've done a couple of events for local symphonies and had R2D2 over there. Danny Elfman is another good one. You know, the Batman soundtrack from 1989, Batman Returns. He's done a really good job with Men in Black. Alright, are you priming? You are priming quite nicely. A little stringiness, but... And since we're talking about first layers... Yep, sorry. So it's looking pretty good. The silver is so reflective that sometimes you wonder, you know, is it doing it right? Is it, or is it not? So. Boy, with that white contrast being so low, I just wonder if it's too much. The singing of the printer. Let's configure that a little bit here. Let's brighten you up a little here. How's that? Look a little better? It's so hard to get that camera in there or not. The layers are looking all good. And if you're, that looks familiar, it's the Good Luck Cat. It just happened to be one of the G codes sitting on the SD card. And Ben, you had raised an excellent comment on one of the Octoprint groups, and I wasn't sure if you were right or not. So I went to the Octoprint forum and asked the question because I was curious. You know, with an Octoprint server, you know, Raspberry Pi and such, you know, some people have complained about quality, you know, when they try printing really fast, and they're saying the Octoprint can't do it. And it's not the Octoprint, it's the actual speed of the actual Arduino, you know, Mega whatever, they have in their printer. So if you're printing via USB, the USB can crank the data out, but the restriction is on the USB chipset that they're using. Because I didn't know if it was a problem with Pi, a problem with USB cord, but no, it's the actual, whatever they're using for an Arduino chipset for the RS-232, USB, UART, blah, blah, blah. Whether it's the Italian version, if you buy an Uno Genuine, or a Chinese knockoff, they all get the same thing. They say if you go over 45 millimeters a second, you'll start to have some defects. Yeah, that silver's looking pretty good. And I think the camera's actually in focus. I didn't dare say it out loud, but... So, the extruder seems to be churning along pretty happily. Actually, let me show you the camera view here. Because what's kind of neat is you can see the knob moving. We can definitely see stuff's going on. It's like pretty mercury. Yeah, some of the shinier ones always give me a little bit of a heart attack here because you look at the layers and go, I don't know if that's right, but no. Okay, so I got leftover junk filament just in case. I have the old extruder and parts. I want to hang on to that just in case. I have extra clips in case this one should fly off, and it looks like it's probably going to do that sooner or later. Yeah, this clip does not like being bent. There. I'll leave that on there. I don't know what's up. I don't know if it's a Capricorn tubing or it's the length, but it just doesn't like being there. So there we go, guys. We've got a new extruder there. We're doing some print testing. I think, in fairness, I'll print another one of the Raspberry Pi cases and see if I get the same extrusion bumps that I got on the other print. I think the Good Luck Kitty. And if you're wondering what the heck that is this guy here. So we're printing a silver version right now. So I am cautiously optimistic about this thing. I would love to be proven wrong. This gave me a few fits during the install. Well, let's see. I'll do a couple prints on this and give you my verdict. I still think the Bondtech is the way to go. But if I can save 90 bucks. All right, all my tools. I like doing these things with an audience. It's I learn from you guys, and well, I think I've already shamed one or two of you guys into checking your esteps. Someone had mentioned, I gotta check mine too. That's interesting. This silver comes from ZYLTech or Ziltech. I don't know the proper pronunciation. I had a coupon code with them, but I think it expired back in June. I had to shoot them an email tomorrow and ask them if they can renew that because I have been using their filaments in all these videos. So maybe they want to be a sponsor. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, this print has a ways to go. Yeah, any questions, shoot them down there in the chat buffer. Figure I'll keep doing this for a couple more minutes anyway. Just wanted to, the second way you said it is right. Okay, what did I say? Oh, Ziltech? Sorry. This is what happens when there's a chat buffer. Wow, we got like 15 people watching. Good evening, guys. If you just tuned in, well, we got a new extruder plugged in. We have the SeeMeCNC EZR. I think it's. I don't have the thing in front of me here. It's the EZR Struder. Got it together. A couple weird things about it. It's 35 bucks. Getting it in there was okay. Feeding the filament into the thing was a little weird, and someone else had done a video on this where they had installed one on their Ender 3, and they basically said very bluntly that they gain nothing, it just looks prettier. So, not ZYL. Okay, very good. Here we go, there's my prompter. So that's what's plugged in right now, and doing a test print. Just so you know, and let me move my mouse back over here. So right now we're doing a print. My camera is probably wonderfully out of focus again because that's what my camera does. It is, oh, and it popped off the bed. Look at that, I'm glad I was here to babysit this thing. And I was just saying how awesome this bed surface is, wasn't I? Yeah, alright, go ahead. And, yeah, I just happened to notice that pop off there. Look at that. Maybe my first layer should be a little bit lower. Maybe it should be a lot lower. Yeah, I gotta fix my Z offset. That first layer is kind of poopy. Yes, they are the CNC motor kit sellers, yep. Yeah, my Z, that is not a very smooth bottom at all. No wonder it popped off. Huh. I did clean the surface. I probably should have let the bed temp get the temperature there before I did that. No, it actually has some really good grab. What I'm checking, well actually let me show you on the laptop camera. I mean usually your first layer is going to be nice and smooth, and this is very bumpy. So I need to fix my Z offset because you can see gaps in there. Not a very good first layer. So that's why it came off the bed. It's 3D printing. We're always fixing something. So that's fine. I can mess with that later. But yeah, and see this is a little on the stringy side too. It looks good. But the only problem with a very shiny filament is you won't always be able to tell super well, especially if you're running a skirt, if those lines are just right or not. So definitely got to baby step it some more. Oh, there you go. Someone just said the same thing. Yep. Yeah, and like I said, what we witnessed here is the only time I've really had any adhesion issues is when the bed leveling hasn't been good. And we've been spending the last 2 hours playing with the extruder that, and I mean, you know, I know better, especially with even the 3D Touch has the same issue. You got to let the bed heat up for a good 5 or 6 minutes, get the temperature, and then let the proximity switch, you know, do its magic. That's fine. Yeah, the flex plates are impressive. Yeah, I've even noticed that a couple of the, I think the Under 3 Pro has like a magnetic sheet on it. So that's interesting. It's really fun to see the development of the build surfaces, you know, how they're changing, because for the longest time it's just been glass, or, you know, a lot of guys have been using the, oh, what am I thinking of? Mirror tile. Because obviously if mirror isn't flat, you're going to get a pretty weird reflection. Yeah, tape's awful. I still have nightmares of using blue painter's tape and trying to make sure you don't have that seam overlap there. Back when I had an acrylic bed on my Ultimaker original, that wasn't a whole lot of fun. So, but yeah, what I could do is, let's see, let me go back. Let me get the bed to temperature first. Hello, Mark. So what I'm doing now, and like I said, this is really nothing related to what we just been going through, but hey, it's turned into a printer chat, and I like that. What I'm doing is I'm heating the heated bed right now. We're gonna let it go to 60, and once it reaches 60, we'll wait 5 or 6 minutes before we reload the print. Because we want the bed to be at a temperature so that when it does the auto bed leveling, the bed has to have been at that temperature for a good couple minutes. The spring steel sheets that the folks at Prusa have looks just amazing. I think Ultimaker came out with something similar, and I want to say they were a little bit behind on getting those out to people that bought the Ultimaker. Is it S5 or 5S? I've lost track. But yeah, so welcome everyone. So that's what's going on. We're heating the bed up. We're gonna do another print. In case you haven't seen it already, let me show it to you here. And the fun wiggly motion cam brought to you by a cheap Logitech camera. But that's what's in here now. It is kind of cool to watch the that little star spin back and forth as it goes. I tried looping the looped end there onto the tubing, but what happened was it bent this so much it was popping it off the top. So I don't know what's up with that. There are these 2 holes here that I don't know what we're supposed to do with. The instructions don't say, so I've just left them alone. The only other screws in there are either too long or don't fit in there at all. So I don't know. The kit's interesting. They don't mention the CR-10 exclusively in the kit. It's just meant to go on top of whatever stepper motor you have. Also, I mean, you're still coming right up against that lead screw. You're not really touching it, but you're right up against it still. But yeah, so this is interesting. I read that there were some issues with people getting their Capricorn tubing to fit in here. Had no issues. It went all the way in. And there we go. Oh, the THD flex plate. Yeah, I'd be curious. I haven't talked to him. I know he's going through a move right now and unpacking, so we haven't chatted in a while. But if you haven't done so already, click the button, become a subscriber. Also, give it a thumbs up. And there's also a link in the description right there. If you like what you're watching, if you like my videos, you like my channel, you want to donate or tip me, there's a link right in there as well. So very much appreciate that. And I've been slowly cleaning up the old workspace over here. I had to get the FT5 out of the way so I could fit this up here. Okay, so we will give this another 4 minutes before we start that print again. And we'll see if that extruder is any happier. What would be a good, let me fire up Simplify 3D here. get rid of that model. Maybe we'll go with something super easy. Okay, and let's make sure I have the right printer here. I don't, so let's, nope, I don't want models, I want profiles. And I just backed up this whole laptop full of them. And what did I do with them? Don't tell me I lost my profiles. No. No, they gotta be in here. Where'd they go? Hey, it's rolling. I'm wondering what I did with all my awesome profiles I had here for the Easy ABL. Oh, there they are. Thank goodness. Alright, so I need... Well, I guess I'm going to go back to Filament Frenzy then. But I don't have the right one. Nuts! Let's see. Well, I'll have to fix that profile later. Okay, so this is heated up. So let's go ahead and let's go do Lucky Cat. Okay, that's firing up. And what we're going to do here is, when this guy starts up, we will do the baby stepping. Boy, that fan is not terribly happy. Come on, you. Looks like for Christmas I need to buy myself a new blower fan. That's great. Yeah, the CR-10, all I have to do is I just have to add the G29 and the auto bed leveling. I just have to weed it out of my backup folder. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I had a several backups that I made of that profile. The Chris Elkins, the Filament Frenzy one is absolutely fantastic. And I just gotta find what I did with that one. Okay, this thing's almost a temperature. Good. I gotta go to his, where's his Facebook page? Oh, hang on a second. Let's get that big booger off of you. He has a web page here. I just got to remember where it is. Trying to find his page here. Oh, Facebook is loading up very slowly over here. Oh, I had him bookmarked on my old laptop, but I don't have it here. Alright, you probe away. Where did I see that? Here it is. Here is, so it's not a very, it's like, you know, filamentfrenzy2.wixsite.com. So this is where the S3D profiles are. His are outstanding. Alright, I'll have to swap spaces in a second here. But yeah, this is, I'll have to baby step this and make sure it goes right. And I click on the link. I didn't want to click on the ad, I want profiles. Oh boy, that site is slow. Alright, let's get over here. Get ready to baby step this thing. Come on. That looks pretty mashed. So I baby stepped it down 0.225. It looks better, but we shall see. The more reflective the filament, the harder it is to check, because you don't know if the lines you're seeing are the reflections or what. Yeah, so back to this. This is his site, and if you're looking for some really killer simplified 3D profiles, like this one right here is his PLA one. This is the one I've liked in the past. Blah blah blah. Continue without the save line. Download. Alright. Save. Alright, with any luck, that's gonna fare a whole lot better. I don't know why that, only other thing I can think of is I gotta make sure that my, it wouldn't come up for you. You want the link? Let me, cut and paste that in here. Got a sound machine. Lots of drivers. Let me know if my link comes up or doesn't come up. Yeah, it's just so close to it. Alright, so if I open up my Simplified 3D again. There we go. So this guy's turning away, and let's see. I can get rid of that. Alright, let's import that profile we just got. Oh, that's right. He named it badly. Okay, so let's go back in here. So he named it, filament print is CR-100. Sure. Alright, that's fine there. So now, yeah, because he named it that. CR-100 instead of CR-10. No biggie. No link yet. Oh, that's weird. It didn't come up under my profile. Let me pull it up over here. Alright, give me a second, I'll pull that up for you. Alright, here we go. That should show up. If it doesn't, let me know. It should though. For some reason, if I send it under my account, it doesn't work. But it does here. Go figure. Alright, well that's going to print for about an hour. Yeah, if I move the microphone further away, it's a whole different creature. It's interesting to watch the, as I showed earlier, it's interesting to watch that to watch it in action. Alrighty. So with any luck, our cat stays on the bed. Wouldn't be the first time I've had to go back through and set the Z offset again. And it's not the worst thing to do. Okay, so I gotta go back to remembering how I did all this. Oh, a spinning flag. That's a very clever way of doing it. Yep. Alright. While I'm thinking of it. That's interesting. I don't have what I'm looking for. Oh, maybe I do. I just, the old laptop that I was using primarily for all my streaming and 3D printing, I copied all the folders over, but I'm seeing a couple folders went missing. Maybe they're still on the external hard drive. I don't know. Trying to find the suggested G29 command that TH3D had here. Alright, there's TH3D's firmware. Oh, I already had this. Okay. And his installation guide is what I'm looking for. Oh, well, you know what? I don't have a PDF program on here yet. That's how new this laptop is. Oh, I hate to use Acrobat Reader. I like to use something a little bit lighter weight than that. Because Adobe always wants to install all kinds of other crap in there. Is Foxit the one that's super quick? I couldn't remember if that was the name of it or not. Yeah, I knew one of them was supposed to be pretty lightweight. You sure, Adobe? Install it. Yeah, it's interesting. I have another project I'm working on, and actually, I should probably do it as part of a live stream. I have a Windows 10 laptop that was what the former box was here. It's an i5, 12 gig of RAM, nice system. But I decided I'm done with Windows 10. It runs super slow on that thing. So I wanted to put Ubuntu on it. And the problem with Ubuntu is that, well, it's not Ubuntu. When I tried to wipe out Windows 10, apparently it had put a smart startup or something on the hard drive. So I am unable to partition and put the boot on the SSD drive. So I don't know if I have to make a Windows 10 recovery just to delete that, or I don't know. I tried Gpart when I booted via USB, via the image, and I'm just stuck. I had to walk away from it today. I was frustrated. I was like, man, I used to be a pretty smart guy with this stuff. What the hell? What the hell? Well, the big thing I'm looking for on this print so far is I'm looking for any gaps. And so far the layers are looking really good. So we will see if the $35 extruder is a go or eh. Yeah, stay away from Adobe. Well, unfortunately, I have the Adobe suite on all my computers because of the, I use it. I use Premiere Pro for the video editing. I use After Effects for a couple of the special, the splash things I use. So I don't know. I don't know a lot about Linux, but I've run Ubuntu on a couple of, and Peppermint and Mint on a few old laptops, and it's really given them a second life. So I was hoping that was going to be the case with this thing too. Well, that's just, I mean, I used to know all the installation tricks back in the day. Back in the day when, back in the 90s when, you had to trick the big hard drives into working on old CMOSs and stuff like that. But now with these Windows 10 and TFS and these, Windows Boot Manager crap, it can be a real bear to get rid of them. Yeah, I haven't. I like Mac. I've just never been able to afford them. I mean, it must be great to code programs for Mac because they all have the basic hardware profiles. I mean, they come one way. They're not a system that you can generally upgrade easily. Generally, what you walk out of the store with a Mac is the way the Mac ends its life. I have too many hobbies to take on Linux. I know. There's too many flavors of Linux. And there's no games. Like I said, I'm a big flight sim nut, There's nothing out there for, flight sim guy like myself on that. Oh, yeah, I remember those. Yeah, config sys, running memmaker to free up extra memory. Ugh, all those Windows 6.0 things. Alright, I don't know why Windows... sure, enable it. Alright, I have Adobe Reader, hooray! And I have all kinds of pop-ups from Adobe now. That's great. Awesome sauce. All this just to run an installation guide. Alright, so here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking through the old EZABL documentation, what he recommends for the startup scripts. Which I probably could have asked any of you guys, but I knew I saw it in the documentation back in the day, and so he recommends, that's quite a bit of code. I'm curious what you guys think about this. So here's what he's recommending for a so that's yeah, and I've changed the S10. Well, That looks like the one I was using before, so let's do that. And what did filament frenzy? Yeah, okay, so we can just make all the filament stuff go away. Boom. Control V. Alright, now I remember on mine, M75, M93, yep. Okay, S10, no, we need to wait longer than that for the motors to or the heater to recover. I always make it 60. There. And so which is this one? Filament Frenzy. So I am going to save it as a new one and call it CR-10. Oops, was our caps on? Yeah. CR-10S Filament Frenzy EZR. But the only way I can keep track of all these darn things on here. And his layers, that's a lot of layers top. I like those a little further away. I don't do 2 layers. Particular. Let's see where I can turn it. Yeah. I like 205. That's been the sweet spot lately. Let's see, cooling. I do like that he's amping up the fan as you go. Okay, that's correct. Scripts, we just added. Speeds. Flap per minute. Oh, you know what? Tools, options, millimeters per second. There we go. Okay, one more time. That's too fast. I want 40. Other. That's been a known issue, so let's turn that off. Alright. I think it's the way I like it. Oh my god, TrueTech. Am I the only person that likes that? Yes, list.exe was the best thing ever. You ran that executable and you could actually punch down through your directories. It was slicker than snot, as they say. That's a great call, boy. Yeah. Oh, you know what it was, actually? It was list.com. Yeah, I remember there was DR-DOS as well. Yeah, what else was there that I used to use a lot? I had Netware Lite, which was, if you couldn't afford the Novell networking, you had, I don't remember what they called it, but, oh, we ran that for a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is all, geez, I hate to age myself, this is all mid-90s networking tech right here. Yeah, my friends were all big into Lantastic. When I worked for a company, it was the first company I worked for, they hired me because I had experience with Novell networking. Because back in the day, I had a bulletin board system in the early 90s. And I had 6 or 7 machines all linked up, get this, with the BNC. BNC was a solid core, you know, and then you had Terminator on one end of the network and a Terminator on the other end. And every now and then, that Terminator would short out. And it would drop your whole network because nothing would communicate. But there was no central router or hub. It was all, you know, just connected to each other. The problem with the BNC network was we worked for a lawyer's office, and that's what they had. And of course, if anyone was going to be added to the network or a new computer, oh, you had to splice in there, and that brought the whole network down. Man. Yeah, we had some people using the Wise workstations. Those were a nightmare. Yeah, I ran a BBS. Oh, actually, I think I got something that'll blow your mind. Okay. Just remember, you brought this on. So, how about the old days of... Maybe I can get a better camera. Let me tip this down. Oh yeah, this is the old netware, and oh god. Look at all these. Yeah. Weren't those the days? Land drivers. What's amazing is this stuff ran so well back in the day. This was the other one we had tons of. Let's see. Oh, how about some word perfect fun? Or let's see, I've got 42 diskettes. So let's go ahead and install Microsoft Office, shall we? Oh, you like BBSs? How about that? Look at all this stuff. I wouldn't even know which ones of these to install in what order. Gold mine. Something. Oh look, the maybe I can install my printer driver. I have a couple old computers that are still running Windows XP. I actually have two that are running DOS, and every now and then I'm tempted to fire up the old Wildcat BBS. You know, when the zombie apocalypse hits, you know, and we're back to phone lines, it'd be nice to have them. Grind them up and make filament. Yeah, these are gold mines for sure. I just can't bring myself to getting rid of them, you know. I've had them this long. And frankly, I mean, I got all this stuff when I was, you know, 19, 20 years old, and this was big bucks back in the day. Picked this up at a yard sale, and I couldn't believe it, and I don't know if I can install it or not, but remember these? Even has the big cheat guide. Although at the moment I don't see the CD, so it might have been all for nothing. Yeah, we kind of went off topic quick tonight. So while I'm looking at this thing, expecting boo-boos or flaws, let me see if this camera is going to focus for us. It's so shiny it's hard to make it work right, but... Those layers are looking pretty darn good. So far I'm not seeing any extrusion woes outside of my bad bed leveling. So yeah. Well, what happens, oops, I'm on the wrong camera here. Here we go. What's been happening to me over the last couple of years, and I used to annoy me because I don't know what to do with them, but I've had several friends, you know, ask me if I want their old PC. And, you know, I would tell, well, wipe the hard drive and just, you know, if you have software or, you know, Windows or whatever on there, you know, include the media. So if I ever decide to boot the thing up, I can. But I've got, you know, I'm not a big collector, but I mean, I do have some sentimental value of things. So I have a Tandy 286, I have a Tandy 386, and I have a Tandy 486 sitting in storage. I have a Windows, actually, it's one of the machines I built. It's a Pentium Pro machine. It has two giant processors, Pentium Pro 200s. But they were upgraded to the overdrive, and you know, back in the day, the overdrive chips were like $200 each, so that's what that one's running. 10 milligram hard, yeah, 10, yeah. My first one was about that size. It took me a long time to save up for a computer that could actually run VGA. I mean, oh my God! This started as a 3D print chat, and now we've totally blown it, and we're going down memory lane here. This is great. I remember when Windows NT first came out and everyone was absolutely outraged that, oh my God, it's going to require 4 gig of memory. Who in the world has 4 gig of memory? Ah, the outrage. Yeah, I remember, yeah, that's the other thing too, because remember back then we didn't have USB, so if you wanted to have a flight stick or a game controller, you know, you had to get the Sound Blaster card. You know, that's interesting because I've got this laptop, which obviously has built-in on the motherboard. Yeah, Sound Blaster Pro was it. Then Turtle Bay or something came out after that. But I usually build my own desktops, but I've just been too lazy because I've been kind of out of the loop, so I didn't know what the fastest RAM, what the fastest bus speed was, whatever. So I got lazy. I just bought a Lenovo gaming desktop a year ago, and it's running an i7 7700. I'm sure it's not the fastest motherboard. I'm sure it's not the fastest RAM, but it's got a 1070 in it. It's got dual SSDs, and I'm largely doing video editing on it, and it's keeping up. And of course, my flight sim with DCS World, it runs that pretty well. But one of my favorite YouTube channels is Linus Tech Tips, and they just did a build the other day with two GeForce, what are they, 2080 Ti's. I mean, just crazy amount of money, but I mean, he has the resources to do these things. With the i9 9900 processors, and I mean, it's just amazing what they can do now. I mean, right now, I mean, I don't have any of my computers running a 4K display. That would be awesome. That would really tighten up the resolution some. I'm still ghetto. I'm still, you know, 19 something by whatever, you know. Yeah, the Connect. Yeah, we definitely go back sometime. Like I said, back in the day when you bought a laptop, you know, a laptop was a real step back from a desktop. You had to make some big sacrifices. And this laptop I got 2 weeks ago, maybe it's been just a week. I mean, this thing is an i7. It's faster than my desktop. I mean, it's got 16 gigs of RAM. It has dual SSDs built into it. I mean, this laptop's a beast. It'll run like 3 hours on battery, but I didn't buy it to be portable. I mean, I didn't buy it for being lightweight and portable. I bought it so that, you know, if I wanted to do video editing on the fly or on the road or on the airplane, I can do that. This can do it. And what's amazing is the price. It used to be a laptop, you know, you were talking, you know, 2-3 grand for something decent. You know, this thing was $1,500 bucks. And I got a better deal doing the lease instead of putting it on my credit card versus, you know, with the lease, if I pay it off in 90 days, no fees. If I put it on the credit card, of course, you know, you wind up with, you know, the monthly charge, depending on how long it takes to pay it off. So definitely been a fan of those consumer leases every now and then. And again, the goal with those is pay it off as soon as possible. Now, if they give you a 90-day, same as cash, do it. Clone, yep. Yeah, Radio Shack really did well. They gave massive discounts to the educational crowd, and of course people would learn on these computers and go, I want what the school has. And people would go to their Radio Shack, and that's what they were buying. Then, I don't have one here, but if I showed you one, I'm sure many of you would kind of go, oh my god, yes. Remember Consumer Shopper? Or Computer Shopper, rather? It was a magazine that was about that thick. Came out every month. It was just all ads for Zeos and Micron and all those. Yeah, I had a TRS-80 Model 3. Actually, I had one here a couple years ago. I got rid of it. I wanted to keep it for the sentimental value. It took up a lot of space. I only powered it up a couple times. Someone waved $500 at me, and I said, "What TRS-80? Take it." So, was it Consumer Shopper or Computer Shopper? I thought it was Computer Shopper. Cause that thing was freaking huge. Yeah, it was big. Yeah. Oh man, was it really that long ago? I really love the BBSs. I mean, I knew the internet wave was coming. Nope, no clicking from that. Yeah, the microphone's right over here. I think you're hearing my stepper drivers more than anything else. Well, if you're hearing clicking, you're hearing something I'm not. It might be a clicking sound because that thing vibrates so much, and I might be picking it up because of the tripod, because that's where the microphone is. I'm sorry, Westhead. Yeah, it is. Yeah. They are loud printers. I mean, that's the thing with these Chinese printers. Everything's cheap, and that's why when this thing's in the enclosure, wow, what a world of difference. The only thing, I had the printed solid enclosure, which, you know, frankly, is kind of expensive for what it does. I mean, it's an enclosure, but it's nice that it pieces together. And you can fit the printer in there, but the problem with the enclosure is the back, you don't have any access to it. The only opening is the front door and then a little gap on the side for all the wires to run through. Whereas if you need to get at the extruder and, you know, move filament or whatever, I'm just so used to walking behind the printer and doing whatever I have to do. So I kind of wish that enclosure had some ability to, you know, pop open the back and get into things. I've seen some guys build some pretty elaborate things. I've seen some people order some stuff from 8020. And I guess the one that I saw, a friend of mine was drawing up, and I gave him a few ideas. Was, you know, I would love to have a 6 foot by 4 foot enclosure, aluminum frame it, put some dividers, you know, so you can put the printers in there. Don't put plexiglass, but something else, maybe Lexan, some vent holes for, you know, some airflow filtering and whatever. And I like the idea of sliding doors, kind of like a shower sliding door, you know, not that elaborate. And the other suggestion I gave him, and I don't know if he's drawn this up yet or not, but I like the idea of the printer sitting on a drawer mechanism, and that you can latch it in place or not, so that if you need to access the printer, you can just pull it out by the drawer and do what you got to do and push it back in. I've seen a lot of Ultimakers on Ultimaker 2s set up that way in printing farms. They flip up the plexiglass, you know, they pull the drawer out, they change the filament on the printer, they do their maintenance, they push it back in there, lock and load, off they go. Display case doors. Yes, yes, very good. See, between the 14 of us, we can come up with an idea here, and someone can design it, and for a small fee, I'll be happy to review it. No. Stay away from plexiglass. Plexiglass sucks. I can tell you because I made a mistake of chopping away at it with a Dremel, and I still, to this day, can smell it. Lexan's way easier to work with, especially in the CNC machines. I mean, Lexan, you get a couple layers of that, and you get bulletproof glass, really. Old VCR sand. Funny story. We'll make millions. Exactly. Down here, I have a 60-inch TV. It was my first 60-inch TV. I bought it about 5 years ago. It's a... what the hell is this? Can't remember the brand on it. It's not Pioneer. Sharp. It's the Sharp Quatron, Quattro, something like that. It's one of the first high-end LCD TVs that has a yellow pixel. So it really did a great job. And one day it started having like a ghosting effect. And the service guy came over and said, well, sounds like an issue with the motherboard on the first HDMI channel. He goes, I can do one of two things for you. He goes, I can haul it away and give you the gift card you need to go buy a new one. Or, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, my truck is full. I can write you the gift card so you can go buy a new one. And you can go take that one in and get rid of it on electronic waste day. Or, nudge, nudge, just use the other channels and it should work just fine. Like, oh. So, I bought a new TV and this one's been downstairs ever since. So, I tell you that, so I have this beautiful 60-inch TV here that I rarely use down here. And I should be using it as a second monitor. But I found a box of all those awesome THX, Star Wars, and other movies that came out in widescreen. Remember back in the day, everyone was trying to sell the widescreen versions or the letterbox versions of all these movies from THX. So I had all those in a box, but I was poor. I'm still poor. I never had a widescreen TV. So the other day I unboxed some junk and I found my old stereo VCR and I thought, oh, I can plug this into the Sharp TV and I can unbox all those expensive VCR tapes that are widescreen I've always wanted to open up and view. And I did. And the resolution is like 480p. It totally sucks. So I bought all those movies thinking someday I'll have an awesome TV and I'll be the smartest man in the world. And unfortunately I did it 20 years too late because 480p don't look so good on a 60-inch TV. Probably look great on a 27, but not so good on a 60. A few weeks ago I had some friends come over and they said, we've seen your YouTube videos, we want to see the studio. And I'm like, well, it's the corner of the basement, it's really not that fancy. And they were making fun of me because obviously it's not very fancy down here. You're seeing the foam insulation here they sprayed on years ago. And then they were making fun of me because connected to that 60-inch TV is an Atari 2600 and I have my Pitfall and Atlantis and all kinds of other Atari games plugged in. So when I'm down here and I'm working on a script for my next video or whatever, I need to take a break, I plug in Pitfall or all my Activision games and play it on the big screen. Oh, that's a nice monitor. Yeah, I got two 24-inch monitors at work, but they're not 4K. Yeah, before I worked at Sears, one of my buddies worked over there, and I always told him, I said, look, if you have anything that comes in as a return and, you know, if it's marked down or on clearance, give me a call. You know, I'll come take a look at it. I'm looking for, you know, a TV for the basement. And they had a TV that came in, and when they received it, it had been delayed, and they forgot about it, I guess in the back room for about 6 months. And when they were doing inventory, they found it, and they were like, oh, this thing's on clearance. So he called me up and said, I got a 55-inch, you know, Sharp TV on clearance. And I'm like, well, I can't afford something that big. You know, what do you want for it? He's like, oh, 99 bucks. Oh, I'm on my way. And of course a 55-inch TV in a Honda Civic Coupe. That was a lot of fun making that fit. I had to kind of duck down there because the TV was right across the top of me. OHM speak. Oh boy, hasn't the speaker tech changed over the years? I used to have the great big Radio Shack Optimus, you know, liquid cooled speakers. You know, the ones that were like yay big. Oh my god, a smart car. My friend has one of those. He hit a deer with it. It's a miracle he's alive. I think the deer just went like this and walked away. Yes, see you next year for sure. Well, I've been babysitting this for the first 1/3 of the way here just to see how this was going to work out, and so far it looks really, really good. Okay, I got the G-code sorted out. I don't know what I'm doing for New Year's. I don't have any hot dates or anything like that planned. The usual. It's probably going to be a marathon of Three Stooges episodes. Yeah. Well, let me show you this one more time here before we wrap it up. I'm pleased that this thing is... the extrusion, the layer lines are all looking really good. So I'm not seeing any issues with the extruder like I was seeing before. And that filament is really gorgeous. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this so far. The install was a little wonky. It's just weird to have all this extra hardware left over. That's a first. So it's looking good. But I'm going to do a few more prints on that. I'm definitely going to do a couple calibration cubes. I'm happy that I got the E-steps worked out. And I'm glad I had some moral support to help me do it. So as always, I'm going to wrap this up. It's about 10:30 p.m., so I'm going to think about going to bed at a decent time here. I thank you guys for watching. We've been doing the SeeMeCNC EZR Struder, and so far it's gone pretty much all right. Then we did the E-steps to make sure everything's working properly. Did have to make some changes there, but it looks okay. I'm not sure this is going to be the fix for me. I still really want to put a Bondtech in there, but at 90 bucks, I may live with this for a little while. But we're going to put it through its paces. We're going to do a bunch of prints. We're going to see if we can make it screw up. I'm curious how it's going to handle, you know, removing the filament and putting new filament in. You know, like anything else, it's just something new to get used to. So there we go. I did pay full price. I didn't get any special deals. I don't think they know nor care that I'm doing a video about it. But so there it is. So anyway, I wish you guys a good night. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you on board. I've done an awesome job this year as far as gaining subscribers. We went from 10 to I think almost 2,100 in just under a year. So that's pretty sweet. And I appreciate your comments and feedback, and I will stop talking now so you guys can resume your evenings. Thanks for watching, guys. And remember, this is where nerdy is cool. Stay nerdy, guys.